Hey, hey, hey. Hello. Is it Wednesday already? I am here for the live Q&A for the Total Reboot Challenge, which many of you are part of. And we had some little assignments and exercises today. So hoping to have you guys all join in and start to give me some feedback on how you're feeling, how it was. Did you do it? Now, I know a few of you did. Hello, I see it. I know a few of you did because I read all the responses. I've been in the forum today. It's been very quiet today in the Total Reboot Challenge forum. So I'm not sure if you're all just chill and breathing or if I need to get you guys back in there, right? So for those of you that aren't sure what I'm talking about, we're in the middle of my 5-day challenge. Reboot. First day was about supplements. Second day was about movement or dance. And today is about mindset. So today, you guys had a little assignment and a video to watch, and I want to try to focus today's live on mindset and asking questions and seeing how you felt. Now, one of the weirdest things, one of the biggest pushback I actually get from clients is when I say, well, can you just breathe more? And they're like, okay, yeah. And it sounds good, but they don't do it, right? So today, one of the assignments was to set a timer and at least 3 times try to sit down and just breathe in that moment. Did anyone do that? Or is anyone who maybe weren't part of the challenge but happen to be catching this live, do you do that regularly? And how do you feel? The feedback that I got so far from those that submitted the worksheet and gave feedback was that you felt significantly better, calmer, more focused. Yes, awesome, 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 awesome. You know, it's like we always get people that don't want to do it, which is fine, you know, but I don't see any harm in breathing. It's free. It's good for you. And there's actually quite a lot of connection between breath and your general health as well. So I don't know if you know this, but every time you breathe, you move your diaphragm. And every time you move your diaphragm up and down, you pull on the vagus nerve. And every time you pull on the vagus nerve, it creates a calming effect. It helps put you into a parasympathetic state. Now, don't think this isn't hard work. It is. It's working a muscle that maybe you don't work very often. I have to actively stop, especially during things like this, and breathe. And you're going to see me do that a lot today because I need to remind myself as well. We're not perfect. Hi, Steve. How are you? There's a lot to mindset that I would love to dive into today. Obviously, the assignment was about breath, and that's just one tool. But let me talk to you about another, and you guys feel free to ask questions. This is a Q&A. I just don't have any, so I'm just filling time, okay? But one of the things that I think we get stuck in with mindset the most are external stressors, things that happen to us, things that happen, and we feel like we have no control but to freak out, right? I don't know about you guys, but I am a recovering freak out person, right? I freak out at every little thing. Every little thing has to be a big deal. And that's how I used to be. And I'm getting better and better and better at not being that way. Because once I started to realize that most of the time I'm freaking out over things that I literally have no control over. So here are my tips. You guys want some tips on this? You guys are quiet today. And no hearts? No thumbs ups? Come on. Give it to me. It might be mindset day. That doesn't mean that I don't want to get a little, come on, let's get some interaction going on, right? So one of the things that I look at is when something happens. Thank you. I love all the hearts on Instagram. I'm in love with the hearts. So one of the things when something happens, it doesn't matter what it is, right? I find the smallest little things can just set me over. It doesn't even matter what it is. But when it happens, first thing, remove yourself from the situation, go outside if you can. Now, this has to do with the breath exercise that I gave all of you today. It's just figuring out how to get into a moment where you can calm that response down. Did you know there was a study that showed that if you go out in nature, you can reduce your cortisol output by 18.5% an hour just by being in nature. Now, add in breath, add in reframing, add in all these other things. Imagine how much more you could reduce it, right? And with our cortisol rhythms being all over, I was prepping for a speech that I'm giving this week, and I was reading the rates of stress and how much people are stressing right now. And it's like 68% or something like that feel stressed right now. Do you agree? Rates of anxiety are through the roof, right? And I don't think that suppressing it with a medication is getting us anywhere. I think we really do have to take this from a holistic standpoint. So when you're faced with something and you find yourself starting to fire up, you feel yourself going, right? Get outside, leave the room. Wherever you are, just leave it for a second. Take these deep breaths. You can use any of the breath techniques that I gave you in the challenge, okay? Take a few deep breaths. Then ask yourself, 1, is this worth, I got a little thumbs up, oops. 1, is this worth spending my energy on? And that's a really valuable question and one that needs to be considered. The second one is, do I have any control over the outcome? Most of the time we don't. But okay, so you ask these 2 questions. Should I put my energy towards this? Do I have any control over the outcome? And then you decide, am I going to take it on? Am I going to delegate it? Or am I going to let it go? Right? If it's something that isn't worth your energy and you have no control over, you're either going to hand it to someone who has control over it, or you're going to let it go. But how often do you choose to take it on anyway? Anyone? Oh, hi. Oh my God, finally able to join alive. Oh, thank you. Right? Do you guys resonate with that? Like, how often do you think you make a choice to take something on that you have no control over? And then it just dampens your energy. Now, we do this with everything else in our lives, right? Like, I'm a business owner. If there's something I don't have to do or I don't love to do, I try to delegate it to someone who loves to do it, right? We do this all the time. We try to offload things on other people, but too often we don't offload the right things, right? We depend on people to do something that really is worth our energy and really worth our time, that we can control the outcome. But then we take on things that we have absolutely no control over. You know, I'm a mom of teenagers, right? So I have a driver and he is like freaking me out in some respects. It's like every time he leaves, I'm like, oh gosh, please just get there, right? I'm creating this fear that is totally out of my control. And I have to learn to let it go, right? But we get so caught up in these moments just as people, and we get caught up. And here's the problem. When you have this constant stimulation of cortisol, which is what causes anxiety and stress and makes us think that we can, you know, do something about it. When we get in that, it creates other disease development. So cortisol itself, that release of cortisol, that fear from running from a bear, that feeling of being anxious, actually triggers changes in blood sugar, which can lead to diabetes, changes in heart health and inflammation, which can lead to stroke and heart attack, changes in brain function, leading to not only dementia, but also to things like Parkinson's. We see changes in our immune system, leading to more cancers. You can link stress back to every single disease that is plaguing our country, right? But here's the thing. You have a choice to change it. Every single thing that comes in front of us is a choice. Everything, right? I had a choice. Am I going to start at 1:59 or 2 p.m. on the nose? Am I going to get the small glass of water or the big glass of water, right? Literally, every single thing we do is a choice. But we tend to choose things that don't serve us more than we should. So when you're looking at mindset, right, this isn't just about, hey, just meditate every day. This is about really looking at your life and saying, what choices do I make that I could make a slightly better choice? What could I commit to on a lower level to give 10% more energy or make one choice different every single day? When we leave here, you guys might go make dinner. So I would encourage you make one choice in that dinner that's different, that serves you. You guys are really quiet today. Are you taking questions related to mindset challenge as well as other topics? I'm focusing on the mindset challenge. If nobody's asking questions, then you can always pop your question down. And if I have a moment, I'll be happy to do my best to answer, right? Question from Tara over here. Is there a way to prevent the freak out moment where you have to go outside? How do you avoid getting to that state altogether? It's like a ticking time bomb, then you burst. Right, so practice. So here's the thing, when you get to that point where everything is a bear and you're anticipating a bear. So let me explain that. If you're in the woods, right, and you're walking and you see a bear, you have this moment, right? And then you see another bear and you have another moment. And then you start to anticipate the bear. The anticipation of a bear that isn't there is anxiety. It's that freak out moment. So it's like you're waiting for it. You're just pitched on the edge of your seat like, okay, when's it coming? All right, where's it at? Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. And anything can set you off. How you get over that in the long term, and this is a fabulous question, is doing these little things that I'm talking about that maybe you're like, okay, that didn't do anything in the moment, but collectively they do. You have to train yourself to get off the edge, to not expect the bear, to just deal with it when it shows up. And you do that by implementing a lot of these tools that we're talking about and the tools that I talk about in my book or in my programs or one-on-one with many of you, just saying, okay, we have to start to make choices that put us in a calmer state so our body gets used to being in a calm state. Right now, we're in a freak out bear state all the time. So we have to teach our body, reteach our body. By the way, we all taught our body to be in that state. Unknowingly, probably, but we all taught ourselves to get there. You can teach yourself to not get there. So unfortunately, in the beginning, Tara, you do have to just recognize it when it happens, go outside, take your deep breaths, reframe. And the next time something that comes along, hopefully you'll have a little bit of tools of remembering that last time when you calm down, it worked. That bear starts to become less threatening. And as the bear becomes less threatening, your ability to handle situations quickly without having to do as much maintenance can happen. I still, to this day, I've been practicing this for 20 years. I still, to this day, have to walk outside. Outside does wonders for me. Dancing. I've learned that if I turn music on, my mood will change in a heartbeat and my reaction to a situation will be better. We tend to react immediately, and I think there's a lot of value in not. Yet, keep in mind, our brains are being trained to react immediately. Look at the media. Scroll, click, scroll, click, scroll, click, scroll, click, get me, bling, 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 right? We're being trained to react. They're preying on the bear, right? Our brains are being trained to be fast reaction, and we need to fight that. No, deep breath. There are moments where you can take a breath and look at it from an objective point of view. So I think you're really working on that. And this is not a quick process. Like I said, I'm still working on it after 20 years, right? I recover faster now, I would say. All of that, right? I recover. I didn't recover as quickly before. It would take me down. It would take me a while to get myself to calm down. It really doesn't take me very long now. I would say definitely less than a minute, if not 30 seconds or less, to just take a second, even if I catch myself starting to get a little over the top. It does not take me long to recover anymore. So I think it's that training. Does that help explain that? And like you're saying, a ticking time bomb, you're not dealing with it, right? What's a ticking time bomb? Something that's going that you're not dealing with. Deal with it. Make a choice, right? Is this worth my energy? Can I do anything about it? And then make a choice. Am I going to take this on and come up with a realistic plan? Am I going to give it to somebody else, or am I going to let it go? And if you choose to let it go, you actually have to let it go. You have to be okay with the outcome if you let it go. I know the perfectionists are freaking out. You have to be okay with it though, right? It's just the way it is. Odds are it's going to be better if you let it go. Let's see. Does that help, Tara, or anyone else? I used the breathing exercise today. The past few days had more appointments scheduled than usual, and it was starting to overwhelm me. But I did the breathing, and it helped me calm down within minutes. Awesome. I love it. I also took a break and just went to sit on the deck, and that helped too. Yeah, me too. So before I came in here, before I do any live, really, if you guys want to know my routine, before I come live on anything, I do any podcast, I do any appearance or anything, I actually go outside and I sit. And I just sit. That's it. I just listen to the birds, look around, take a few deep breaths. You know, I accept that I'm as ready as I'm going to be. There's nothing else that I can do. I try to tap into, we talked about frequencies a little bit yesterday, just tap into like the higher frequencies of just letting information come at me. And that's okay with me. Right? It didn't used to be that way. I used to be like, you know, like before a test where you're like cramming everything and you're like, oh, you know, right before you go out. I don't do that anymore. And I think I'm clearer and better because of it. So I think we tend to do that. We tend to micromanage. And if you have that instinct to micromanage, like Tara was saying, it's those freak out moments, the reaction moments that are the hardest. Yeah, you have to train yourself not to be, you're already in a heightened state, right? So when we look at adrenal fatigue or adrenal dysfunction, the problem is we're already in a heightened state. We're just waiting. We're waiting for the freaking shoe to drop. It's going to drop and it's going to ruin our lives, right? We're waiting. We're just waiting. What if you just weren't waiting? What if you're like, oh, cool, I like bears? You know, there's a reframing exercise where it's like, things don't happen to you. They happen for you. You guys ever heard that? So we always think things happen to us or that we have to do something. First of all, we get to do something. Many of you have heard me talk about that before. We get to. We're awake. We're alive. We can do whatever we want. You can choose not to do it. You don't have to do it. You get to do it. You're choosing to do it, right? But we also tend to think that everything around us is happening to us. Hard stuff happens to us all the time. And I am no expert here in I freak out, I break down. I have moments where I'm like, geez, really? Like another thing. And then I stop. I take my 5 minutes of, oh, woe is me. I let myself cry. I let myself get upset about it. And then I come back and I say, okay, how is this going to help me? Any of you guys do that? Everything that's ever happened in my life, tragedies, and there have been a lot of them, pain, and there's been a lot of it. Discomfort, there's definitely been a lot of that. All of that has grown me into who I am and has opened up a door to something else. That's even more amazing. So remember that, right? Just remember that. Question over here. How do you stay on track mentally and action-wise when you continue to show up towards your goal and you don't see your results? Well, this is a great question. So if you were trying to build something, let me see how I can relate this. Let's say you were trying to build this pen and you were consistently out of this band in the middle. You will never build a pen. Never build it right. So something's missing, right? So if you're showing up for yourself and you're putting all these things in, I'm going to guess that there's an internal factor being missed. So when people treat stress, a lot of people only focus on the external stress, which is what we're just talking about, reframing and calming the body and things like that. But keep in mind, there's a difference between external and internal stress. You could do everything right. You could put in food, you could exercise every day, you could do your meditations and still not see success. Why? Because something internally is causing a problem. There's an internal stress. So what I do, right, as an adrenal fatigue or adrenal dysfunction expert is I address not only the external stress and our reaction to it, but also the internal chemistry that's causing a problem. It could be that you're low in B vitamins and your body can't lose weight. It could be that your gut microflora is off and we're addressing other things, but we're not looking at the true root cause. So I typically find that the investigation, there needs to be more investigation in that case. As far as mentally, I think, one, not giving up, but not just accepting that this is the way it has to be either. I think there's a point where it's like, okay, I have made a concerted effort towards XYZ. I have done everything that this person told me or someone told me, and I'm not seeing any results. What am I missing? Not, I need to give up. This isn't working. That is not the right response. The response is, what am I missing? Who can I reach out to figure out what I'm missing? Right? And that's what I do. That's what my group program's about, is helping you figure out, what am I missing? What am I missing? So you can work with your doctor to really get to where you need to go. I see a follow-up question, so I'm going to take that before I hit the other ones because it's probably on the same track. Would the stress come from a belief? Do you believe in that, or would you say it's solely biological? Oh, well, the belief is biological, right? Our head is connected to our body. If I decide, okay, when I was a kid, I had strep throat or I had something, and I went to the doctor and they wanted to draw my blood, and they would not tell me what they were going to do. All they were doing was holding me down, and I'm screaming, saying, "What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do?" Right? I created something in my mind that now decided that anytime I have to get my blood drawn, it's going to be bad. I believed that I was going to be in pain. Your body is connected. You create the fear, right? So a belief can absolutely cause stress. That's why the mindset stuff is so important. So when I work with people, there's 4 aspects. You have to do all 4, guys. Now, I'm not saying you have to do all 4 at once and do them perfectly. Sometimes you have to start with one pillar until you get it right and keep moving on. It's okay to only commit to one pillar at a time. That is okay. But we've got nutrition, movement that actually helps the parasympathetic nervous system, supplementation for your individual internal imbalances, your internal stress, and mindset. You have to combine them because you have to retrain the brain to not have that fear and that stress response, but you also have to support the body that is now declined because of the stress response. Does that make sense? Anything can be a stressor. A medication can be a stressor. 70% of people in America have some sort of pre-diabetic or diabetes. That alone can cause so much stress on the body that the body will actually develop a stress response. More anxiety, poor sleep, inflammation, muscle aches and pains, right? You'll start seeing mood changes. You'll start seeing changes in heart health, not only because of the diabetes is doing that too, but also the stress that diabetes can put on the liver function, the digestive function, and the extraction of energy. What is our product, guys? Energy. If we can't break food down to make energy, we can't make anything. We cannot make our pen. So yeah, belief, great question. Our head is, at least mine is, it's on my body. Sometimes I wonder, but it is. And our brain is inside our body, and our brain has a very sophisticated system that communicates with our body. And this is where those nervous systems come in, the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. They communicate. Ooh, danger, quick, run. Okay, I'll run. Is it gone? Yep, gone. Oh, wait, there might be another one. Oh, okay. Like our bodies communicate. That's what they do, right? So yes, belief, physical, it's not just, I mean, it's all biology because our brain is connected. But yes, a belief or a thought or a fear or a trauma can absolutely cause problems in your biology, and problems are in your physiology, and problems in your physiology can absolutely cause problems, you know, in your beliefs, right? And in how you see the world. Yeah? Great question. I love this question. Great job, Sunshine and Beauty. I really do. What great questions. Maria says, I have been trying to remind myself to be calm when the stress monster kicks in. Then I sing, dance, or do something that helps calm me. Often we help others, but we have to remember to help ourselves too. Yeah, and I think finding the fun in it is really important. Right? There is fun in the world. We tend to try to hide it. We tend to want everything to be negative all the time. There's a little bit of fun in that too. I don't know. There's always an opportunity to learn and grow from problems. So once again, going back to the beginning, stress comes along. Take a deep breath. Is it worth your energy? And do you have any control over it? And if you don't, either get rid of it, give it to someone else, or if it's something you can change, take it on. But come up with a plan with it. If you had a leak in your kitchen, what would you do? Seriously, dumb question, I know. But seriously, let's say you walked into your kitchen and it was flooding. Now, you could stand there for an hour and scream about it and freak out about it and call your mom and call your friend and, you know, start complaining and, you know, you get all upset over it. Or you could figure out how to fix it. Right? It's a choice. We all freak out when we see our kitchen flooding. But then we take a breath and say, well, okay, what can we do right now to band-aid it? Let's get something on the leak. And then what do you do next? You call the plumber. What does the plumber do? The plumber looks at the entire line to see what caused this problem, right? He doesn't just patch it up and go on his way. That would be equivalent to just doing a medication. Oh, you have anxiety. You're feeling stressed out. Here's your SSRI. Take care. That's a horrible plumber. Not going to get very far. It'll only solve the problem temporarily. You have to look at the whole pipe. Does it need to be replaced? Is there a block in it? Is there maybe something that needs to be tightened? Like, what is it? And then you have to do regular maintenance, right? You got to keep checking it more than you need to check in on it so it doesn't happen again. Sometimes venting feels better to some than fixing it. Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I think a good vent can be good. I think we have to acknowledge our emotions. I'm not asking you to suppress them, right? But there's a timeline, right? Get it out, scream, say ouch, whatever, and then take a deep breath, remove yourself. Don't let your body go into this downward spiral. There was another stat I was looking at it. Oh, what was it? Was it 60%? Around there, 58% or something, 60% said they cannot do anything when they're under stress. They're almost paralyzed from getting anything done. Anyone relate to that? When you're under so much stress, you can't even do anything because nothing's done well, right? So acknowledging your emotion, having a freak out moment, that's healthy and it happens. How fast can you recover and not let it bring down your health? There's the question, right? I think that's a great point though. Great point. Is it normal to feel stressed every day? I feel down and very stressed and easily overwhelmed. I lost 3 family members since July. I lost my job in April, marriage issue, and my 3 boys, the bears. Kirby, I can very much relate to you on this, as losing so many people in my life. And I don't like to use the word losing. I pause because I don't like to use the word losing. Did we lose it? I don't know. Did we lose our job? Or maybe it wasn't the right opportunity. There's usually, and it's hard to do this, I know, because when you're in it, it's like, right, there's all these bears. But what if these perceived losses or what people perceive as failures or things that are happening to them, what if they are actually an opportunity for you to actually excel? They're teaching you something. They're opening up a door to something. They're letting you connect with something that maybe you haven't connected with. I did not connect well with myself for the longest time. And when I lost my family members, it hurt. They were my identity. I had to find myself again. Painful, hard, no question. But God, I'm glad I did it in hindsight, right? So I think it's perceived as normal to feel stress every day, but at the same time, I would encourage you to do the exercise I just spoke about, where it's like, do I have any control over this? Is it worth my energy? Can you let some of this go? I have to let go the 1,000 water glasses around my house that my kids just can't seem to understand. Like, we don't need to use 800 water glasses. I could freak out with that every time I walked in the room and saw another darn water glass, but I don't. I try not to, right? Because it's really, in the whole scheme of things, it's really rather irrelevant, right? You have to choose your battles. You have to pick your battles. I feel for you. And I guess the best thing I can say is I've been where you are and there is a way out. And it is just taking the time to fulfill your cup. That's when I went back to dance, guys. I went back to dance because I was so low. I needed something to lift me back up. And dance lifted me back up. And I have not left dance class. I go every week. If I have to miss it because I'm traveling or something, I'm devastated, right? And I've learned through that process that when I feel that way, and I still do at times, there's a loss. Grief is a very interesting animal. I find that's what I got to do. I've learned my tools. I got to go dance. I got to show up for you guys. I got to give you support. I got to give back to the community. I'm on a mission to get people well. And we're not going to get well with the way the medical system is right now. If we don't start paying attention to mindset and we don't start paying attention, still, nutrition applies to everything, nutrition, movement, supplement, and mindset. We are not going to get well. So it will get better. Make the choice to learn from this experience. How can you pay it forward to somebody else? What can you do for yourself to be able to overcome those situations? Because they are overcomable. And you're not alone either. I can guarantee you so many people listening right now have a very similar story of loss and stress. And I know that because I look at the statistics. I look at how much fear we're under right now. I get it. So you are not alone, right? So what's the best way to bring us together? Community, things like this, challenges like this, where someone can say, wow, Kirby, I'm having the exact same issue. And you can say, hey, I'm here for you. Life isn't easy, but it is a choice how we're going to move forward. It is a choice what we make, what we put on our plate, what we put in our mouth, what we allow to impact us. You know, I try to laugh at my kids when they do, you know, stress like that. It's hard sometimes where I'm like, gee, I wonder what was going through their head when like they picked out the 5th water glass, or like when I make them wash them all at the end of the day, they don't like get the idea that they're supposed to. In fact, some of my Instagram memes that I put out there are inspired by my family because I laugh. I'm like, really? I could stress out or I could just laugh about it. I guess it's their process. They have to try 800 different water glasses. I don't know. Right? Venting is like getting the pus out of a pimple. Get it out, then let it heal. Don't keep picking at it. That's great. Yes, it hijacks your brain. Kirby, my prayers are with you and your family. See the support, the love. You say that's very true because the job was very stressful. It might not have been the right job. I know it's stressful when that happens. I mean, finances are a huge stress, but it may not have been the right situation, right? And there's another situation right around the corner. Don't lose sight of it. Don't let that shut you down where you're not paying attention. When things hit you hard, pay attention. When you feel the energy shifting and it feels like something's trying to take you down, pay attention. Something is trying to get your attention. Find it, harness it, grow with it. That is a sign. If life was always easy and the same, we would never grow and life would be ridiculously boring. And you wouldn't necessarily be happier. You have to choose to be happy, right? Does that help, guys? So did I have any other questions here? You guys are just agreeing over. All right. Oh, here we go. I did have one. I definitely had to learn this. We are doing a kitchen remodel and things are a little in disarray. Yeah. I just let it go and move on. Washing dishes in laundry room, just walk past and adapt. Yeah. Think about how beautiful it's going to be when everything's remodeled, right? I've been working on the breathing technique since December and it has really helped. Awesome. So Nana says, trials may bring change, a blessing. The live I didn't know I needed. Well, we're up on our time, but we still have another day of the challenge. And tomorrow we're going to be talking about nutrition. If you are part of the challenge, not all of you have logged in yet. You do know there's like a whole thing for you to log into with little videos and exercises and stuff, right? I see many of you in there. I see you making comments in the forum. There's a community in there, guys. Lean on each other, right? But there's more lessons dropping at midnight tonight on nutrition. We're going to try to simplify nutrition for adrenal health. And tomorrow is the masterclass on how to 10x your energy and your life. And I want you all there. So if you're part of the challenge, you're going to have an invite you're going to get the link to the Zoom link for Friday. I actually already put it in the forum in the little lesson portal. And you'll also get an email. If you are not part of the challenge and you want to be part of the masterclass, send out an email to sign up for that as well. Or just go to the link in bio, sign up for the free challenge. If you sign up for the free challenge, you get access to everything, right? You can go back to day one and start all over again. It won't take too long, but I'm really excited to see you all tomorrow and talk diet. This is something that all of you bring up to me. When I did a little poll recently that said, what do you guys struggle with? What stops you from moving forward? Everyone says, what to eat? What the heck do I eat? So I'm going to tell you tomorrow what to eat. Deal? All right. I hope this was helpful for you. A little bit different vibe than the dancing vibe the day before. If you just joined in, you want to learn more about me, go to drpingle.com, sign up for the challenge at link in bio. I will be back tomorrow for the live on nutrition at 2 p.m. Pacific time, and the masterclass, which will be on Zoom. Just a reminder, the masterclass is not here. It's on Zoom. So you have to either be in the challenge or sign up for it. So if you want to be part of the masterclass on Friday, it is Zoom. So you need to get that link. So if you're in the challenge, start checking your emails. If you're not in the challenge, but you're on my list, start checking your emails because that's where the link is going to be. Okay. So much love to all of you. And for those of you that were vulnerable today and shared your struggles, I hope you know that my heart is with you completely. I have every confidence that you can overcome and get through and come out brighter on the other side. So just stick with it. Keep smiling, keep dancing, keep breathing, and keep just making one small choice at a time. The Zoom is also at 2 p.m. on Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern. So same time, it's just instead of being here, it's going to be in Zoom. Okay? All right, guys, have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow.